Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Jacob Wile, too.
And welcome to another installment of Tiki's Universe. It's the show where we talk about DuckTales and honestly not a whole hell of a lot else right now because the airing schedule and everything else that we're talking about is kind of crap. Woohoo. Jacob, how you doing?
Doing all right. You doing all right? How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Now, folks, of course, just to obviously we're going to talk about DuckTales. We're talking about the House of the Lucky Gander, which is I believe this is episode 6 of season 1. Jacob, is that correct?
I think so. Yeah.
All right. So House of the Lucky Gander. Now, folks, just to catch up on the other Tiki's Universe stuff that we're going to be covering. Jacob, man, oh man, Milo's Murphy Law just kind of threw a curveball at us, and I think at this point we're really far behind our Welcome to the Wayne. So I think what we're going to try and do, like, hopefully by the end of the month, is maybe just do 2 podcasts, just catching up on Welcome to the Wayne and catching up on Milo Murphy's Law.
Pretty much everything. Pretty much just watch all the episodes and then talk about them.
Yeah, just like an all-in-one, just an all-in-one, like, hour and a half. Like, all right, let's just talk about all the episodes. I mean, that's honestly the only foreseeable way we're going to get through it. And we need to get through it somehow because I had a lot of fun talking about Milo Murphy's Law last season, and I want to continue it, so.
Well, technically, this is still considered the first season, believe it or not.
Oh, God, it is still? Okay.
Yep, there's just a hiatus, I guess.
That makes sense.
For some reason.
All right, anyways, and welcome to the Wayne. Frankly, I've just been, with the trip in the middle of everything. It's just there's not been a lot of time to sit down and watch it, but I intend to, darn it. Anyway, so let's talk about DuckTales. Oh, man, Jacob, House of the Lucky Gander. First off, I just want to say it is nice to get a proper adventure episode of DuckTales again. I'd say this is the first, proper adventure episode. What I mean by that is, okay, we've got Launchpad as the pilot. Scrooge and Donald are on board. The whole gang's together. We're in an exotic land. This is like a series proper DuckTales formula. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it was good to have that, but oh man. I'm very sorry, folks. I feel so bad for being so negative because this is the first DuckTales episode that's genuinely disappointed me, but I really did not like Gladstone, and I know he's a legacy character, and I know that he's toned down from what he was in the original show. I honestly think it's just my bias because it's Paula Thompkins.
But I meant was the original show toned him down. He's actually back to closer to where he was before in this one.
Oh, is he? Okay, well, then never mind about what I said. Yeah, I wish he was, I don't know. I don't remember much of him about the original show, but this guy is, I don't know, Jacob. I don't know. All I can say is I hope this guy is not a series regular. I hope this guy, pops up every once in a while and, becomes the butt of jokes because I really didn't like him at all.
I thought I thought his whole idea of the whole luck base was an interesting concept and all.
You know what this episode reminds me of? It actually does kind of remind me of a classic Donald Duck, Scrooge McDuck comic book because it does have like I said, the far off land and kind of the surrealist visuals. I especially felt the surrealist visuals in the finale with the race. You know what I mean? It felt like something out of Math and Magic Land.
Yeah, I really did like that aspect. That's when the episode really did ramp up.
For sure. And I would say overall, by far the best element of the episode, I would say, for my money, is probably Donald. What would you say?
Probably. I mean, I like seeing his personal struggle.
Yeah, this episode is a good kind of sort of showcase for that in a way that's played a little bit more seriously than we usually see Donald.
I did honestly. I did like that aspect.
Mm. All right. Okay, so I gotta say, man, the nephews are kind of stealing the gags throughout the series so far because, oh man, I really love the gag with the water show, the Aquarion or whatever the hell it was called.
Aquarion, I don't know.
Yeah, Aquarion or whatever it is. Aquarion, the waters of Aquarion. I just love it because I love how Huey, the timing of it where Huey's like, oh, how many millions of dollars, how many millions of gallons of water does it take to put on a, and then the show starts. The dancing water show.
That was pretty. That was pretty. Yeah, I did like that.
Jacob, just speaking as a Disney park fan, I kind of have that same experience every time I watch Fantasmic, where it's like, okay, I've given up like an hour and a half of my time. My feet hurt like heck. We don't even have a perfect seat. And then as soon as Fantasmic starts, I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, that's pretty much my reaction. I mean, my first day at my Disney trip, I was like, I got to the park early. I was walking all around Hollywood Studios.
Uh-huh.
And then the way to close it with, and I closed it with Fantasmic.
Nice.
So that was pretty much the end of my first day. So like I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So what do you think of David Tennant's performance here, where he's just like really frustrated, like he wants to go on a proper adventure, and instead he's stuck in the hotel?
I liked it. I mean, they're not using his full talent, his full range here, but as they did in the pilot and other preceding episodes, but he's still nailing it as Scrooge naturally.
I like how Scrooge had a lot of really clever bits. Specifically, one, he purposely checks into the motel because the check-in and check-out is always by the exit after, the whole episode struggling to find the exit.
Oh, yeah. Definitely shows his intelligence in that regard.
Seriously, Jacob, not since the Page Master have we seen such an epic quest to get to the exit sign. I'm glad you got that.
What about
so 90s?
Yeah.
Anyways. Oh, and then also the other really clever Scrooge gag that I love, probably the moment of the episode, is the giving up Donald.
Yeah, it's like he willingly gave up his nephew because he knew it wouldn't, because he knew that it'd suck away the luck.
And it's played as a genuinely emotional moment for the nephews, you know what I mean? It's like, how could you just give him up just like that? And then Scrooge is just like, wait for it. 3, 2, 1. His luck is horrible.
So honestly, do you think you'd have given Donald away either way without the whole bad luck thing?
Well, I would never give Donald away because Donald Duck is a national treasure, but that's a different story.
What I'm saying is, do you think Scrooge would?
Oh, right. Yeah, for sure.
Is it even without the whole luck thing? He probably would anyway.
No, I mean, I could see where the episode was going with it. I just, like I said, it was very clever on Scrooge's intellect.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. He's like, continuing to use his nephew as a tool.
Mm.
One thing that would have been more interesting to make this episode a bit more interesting, though. I want to see Launchpad's story.
Oh my God, yeah, let's talk about that for a second, because I have a feeling that could be like a standalone episode on its own.
Yeah, that would like Z, wherever you are.
Launchpad, what have you been doing this whole time? Tourist stuff.
I mean, I would have liked to see that. Like, if that was like the other half of the episode, that would have been great.
I could honestly, I have no idea if this is, true or not, but I could totally see this being like a Launchpad, like Launchpad having an episode that's kind of filling in the gaps. Speaking of episode order, Jacob, we should probably bring up a helpful comment we got last week regarding sort of the string of Webby-centric episodes that we've kind of been noticing a pattern of. So special thanks to OwlSong74. He says, one of the reasons for the lack of Scrooge and maybe the emphasis on Webby is that Disney XD moved around the episodes from the order the writers originally had them. Terra Firmians was moved back for Halloween, and the Huey-centric episode was moved ahead for the holidays, and that jumbled things up a bit. So thanks so much for the insight, OwlSong. That kind of clears things up a little bit. Of course, Disney XD, we kind of experienced that a little bit with Milo Murphy with the air dates and everything. So hopefully it doesn't screw up like the serialized storytelling too much with them doing so, because I've heard horror stories of I think the most notorious cartoon that did this, Jacob, for my money, is probably Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
You mean the Cartoon Network series?
Yeah, like the CG Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Because I've heard that they just aired storylines like completely out of order, and it was just like a whole mess. And hopefully it does not get this bad, because so far I think, in spite of it being out of order, like as we've already pointed out, kind of like the biggest thing about it being out of order is that we get kind of like a weird amount of character-centric episodes in a row. But that's really not too bad. All right. So I guess the only other thing I want to hit on is, like I said, that last race really is fun. It really does kind of save the episode in a lot of ways, especially the sort of tortoise and the hare aspect of it all.
Yeah, especially how they used Donald's bad luck to win. I really did like that.
Like I said, it felt like classic, like it felt like sort of like Mickey Mouse Works, or like, you know, Donald Duck comics or something like that. It felt like throwback Disney.
Even though it kind of did, like the nephews were like just a moment ago, like, yeah, Donald's the worst, and suddenly, oh, you can do it, Donald. And it did kind of feel awkward.
Yeah, and I will say that's one of the things where it's like, I think the nephew is one of the big weakness for the episode for me was Gladstone himself. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I think it's just the fact that I don't really like Paul F. Tompkins' character on BoJack Horseman, and this is a very similar character to Mr. Peanut Butter. I don't want to hold that against the show. I'm trying not to have that bias, but I don't know. Gladstone himself, I thought, was pretty insufferable, as was the nephew's kind of, loyalty towards Gladstone, except towards the very end of the episode. So that was definitely an iffy quality for me of the whole thing.
I can agree.
All right. You know a joke that just was like straight out of Gravity Falls, Jacob?
Which one?
Early on when we see the montage of like Donald's bad luck, exposed against Gladstone's good luck, and where the string of like, ooh, $20, ooh, $20. And then the third time we see Donald's like, dibs, and then the bank robbery happens, and then we see like Gladstone stops the bank robbers, and Donald is a suspect because he has the $20. Like, tell me that is not a Grunkle Stan joke.
It could definitely come across as one. I mean, they could definitely pull that off there too. Although Grunkle would probably be the one robbing the bank in that scene.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Right. Oh God. All right. So yeah, overall, Jacob, I think you and I can both agree this is probably out of a string of really good episodes, like a really good kind of out-of-the-gate starting point for the DuckTales series. This was probably the weakest one, but still, it was a good classic sort of DuckTales adventure. Had some good set pieces, especially the ending race. I like how Scrooge and Donald sort of got on the same page a little bit in this episode. Some nice character building there.
The only way I could improve is if they hinted at it more, and like they hinted at the whole dubious nature sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, at least more, because like Gladstone giving odd looks to other people and all that didn't really give much away. Just like, okay, he's just doing that.
Right. One other thing. What do you think of the ending with the cricket?
It's like the whole reason they came there's like, okay, we can go.
I thought that was a bit of a fourth wall break where Scrooge was like, all right, the ridiculous Gladstone stuff is over. We can go now. On to bigger and better things. I know this wasn't one of our stronger episodes.
It's like apparently the golden cricket isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Right.
I thought
that was kind of a clever way to end things out, kind of a nice subtle joke.
That or the song that's supposed to play song that they embedded in lightning was over and they missed it.
All right. Any final thoughts on this one, Jacob?
No, I think we've said our piece.
Yeah, for sure. So next episode is the one that we thought was coming out this week. So hopefully we'll be talking about this. It's the Infernal Internship of Mark Beeks, followed by the Living Mummies of Toth Ra. And then it seems like that's going to be the last episodes for a while, Jacob. So crossing our fingers that we'll get more, because it's been a fun time talking about these with you guys. Thanks so much for the comments and the nice feedback. We really appreciate it. And I hope I wasn't too harsh on this episode. Like I said, I enjoyed a lot of parts of it. It was just Gladstone himself that was really kind of questionable for me. I was like, oh, God, I hope this guy doesn't become a series regular. So other than that, still a good time. All right, Jacob. See you later, guys.
See you, everybody.
Woohoo.
Woo.